Let me make sure of the ones I have. Because on the order, it only has 3, but I know he ordered. Okay, that's the one. Okay. Review the shipment, that way I can make sure I know what I got on there. Okay, so that's one shipment. It says 4 items, but I don't see how it's got 4 items. Single. Oh, okay, let's go here. No. I know he bought 5 things. I'll make sure I got them all, so that way we're in good shape. Okay. 333. Okay, so that's 4 rocket and 2 sketches. Rocket. And then this. Okay, so that's where it was. Okay, so I'm glad I double checked that. So if you got this one. Make sure I got them all. Damn. See, that's a good flip. He's smart. So he'll do them, he'll buy them for half the price and he'll flip it. So I don't have a problem with that. Okay, so let's get in here and start getting to work, right? All right, so we got it. Yeah, I'm getting it done this morning. I had to make sure one, I had all my orders ready to rock and roll for you guys. And now I got some work to do. I gotta get this custom card done, and then I'm working on your book later today. So I actually got 3 books that are on my plate that need to get done. But I have this animated character I gotta do first. Get him done. His name is Cayman. He's from Durara. So I just had to draw him a little bit ago. So I'm gonna draw him again really fast. It's a very weird looking like lizard character from that series. But fun character to draw though. Let me pull this up. Okay, so let's get going. Just gotta set up my one video here. So how are you doing this morning, Custom? What's up, Sam? What's up, Big Show? Welcome to the stream. Okay, so let me have my bag of tricks here. Ah. Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I was talking about yours to my wife yesterday about stuff that you do. She thinks it's very intriguing. Yeah, I think what you're going to do with those covers is going to be sick. I'm really looking forward to the Bishop one. That's the one I'm most intrigued to see you do. All right. Pull my reference here so that way I can know what I'm doing. Yeah, it's going to be. I like seeing different stuff with my work. And I like seeing what other people can create. Think about it like this, like when Todd McFarlane first started off his career, like, he was just drawing his thing, doing what he enjoyed. But seeing people redo his covers, I have no doubt that he loves seeing that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's Spider-Man. I'm curious to see what that's going to look like. I have no idea. But I can tell you this much. That book, it's one of my favorite Joe Madureira books. So I know on the inside of the book, it's got like Red Hulk inside there. And you got some Avengers and stuff like that. What's up, Charm? Good morning. So there's good stuff to be had. Damn dog, good morning. Okay. All right. So we're going to keep on trucking along. So, like I said, we got this guy. His name is Cayman. I have a mock up for him. And we're just going to push through and get him done. He looks like a lizard. Ooh, that's not coming out right. Let me stop that. For some reason, my camera's all acting up all weird. That's why, because it got covered. That makes a whole lot more sense. Okay, so let's try that again. And zoom in over here. I have two different monitors I'm looking at to make sure I get this guy looking right. So I'm flipping between the two. What's up, Blue Jack? How are you doing? Really? Well, that's very cool. Yeah, I appreciate the love being sent between everybody. I mean, um, I don't know if he told you or not, but I'm working on this series, the sketch card series. But in the meantime, I have other things I'm doing too. What's up, Floyd? Yeah, I'm doing a sketch card series. Oh, perfect. But just to let you know, so the sketch card series is 1,000 cards with 10 different categories, and ranging from like anime to Pokemon stuff like that. And I will trying to get more characters into my set of skills, and then just getting myself ready for a book that I want to write or want to draw next year. Oh, I love people that can do Ninja Turtles. That's a love of mine. I mean, anybody that that's seen it, like this is cool. Um, I'll show you the turtles. This is just one of the couple that I do. So yeah, I'm very happy to see that. Yeah, I'm definitely doing self publishing. I will not be going through a publisher because that's the way I prefer it. But that's one of the turtles. Got a little Mikey, my favorite Ninja Turtle there, and then Donnie. And it actually ended up turning into a set. This was something I did for my son, just because he loved Ninja Turtles at the time, and I just wanted to put something really cool up on his wall because um, I didn't like the stuff that was being produced, and the things that I would find at cons and stuff like that, they were kind of generic. So I had to. I was like, I'll just make you some. I got you. So they turned into a thing. My wife was like, you should just turn those into prints, and I'm like, okay, let's do that. We can do that for sure. Let me get up on here. I want to take a look and see what you do. Let's check you out. I'll give you a follow. Gotta definitely do that. And then I gotta take a look. There we go. Oh, here we go. What's the oh, you got that old school style. Oh wow. Man, I gotta take a look and see what kind of stuff you guys do together. Yeah, if it's what I think it is, I love the style. I love the look. back up here. This is such a weird, creepy looking character. This is basically a lizard. So I gotta make sure I make him look right. Oh, wow. Yeah, it's going to be fun seeing some of these things come out. I'm looking forward to seeing like the Spider-Man done, but that Bishop is going to be fire when it's done. The negative space. And actually the Spawn one that I have planned for yours, I already have the idea. I don't know if you've seen my Spawn that I've done before, but I want to show it to you. And I told everybody this story a couple weeks ago or a week ago that was on here. So this idea was actually snagged. Whether anybody will admit it or not, this was actually snagged by Todd McFarlane's people. But that's okay. I'm okay with it. It's I feel like I set the bar. But I think if you take a look at Spawn 3, I want to say it's like 365 or something like that. The pieces are pretty much the same, minus the fact that there's more details on the artist that did it. Let me see if I can pull it up here for you. Yeah, because when I did it, it was kind of crazy. So last January, I believe it was, Todd McFarlane decided to do a like a cover artist feature. And I'm very thankful that he did it because it did give a chance to artists to showcase their work. So thousands of people put in their work, and what ended up happening is that he did it for each week. He had a different theme, and you would submit for that theme. And I submitted every week, but I'm pretty sure this particular piece is one that caught the eye of somebody, even though it never got published. It did catch the eye of people. And when I show it to you, you guys will understand what I'm saying. Let me pull this back, because I think we went to this show back in March. No, we went in February. Sorry, I got to go back through my archives to find this thing because it's. When I first saw it, I was pissed. But then I was like, you know what? I set a bar because at least somebody saw it, and they recognized that it was actually a good piece of artwork. So for that, I can be like, you know what? It's okay. I'm going to give it a pass. You can't be mad if you set something and you set a bar and somebody else is like, I'm going to snag that. Okay, so this is the piece. All right. And I had to put them side by side. I actually posted this because I wanted them to see it. So you can see mine. Mine's on the left. And then Brett Booth's is on the right. Kind of similar, right? Very similar. I mean, look even like at the chains there. Oh, look at the skull that's in the middle there. Yeah, isn't that kind of close? Even the chest placement. Look at the chest. Kind of crazy, right? And instead of him having a gun, he's got like this power, right? Yeah. It's a pretty crazy piece. But going back to what you're going to get, um, you'll get something like that. But I posted that. I said, like, January 2021. I made that back then. I actually gave this away, so I know that this is out there. I made this. And then there's the one that they finally created. Mine, theirs. Yeah, I mean it's eerily similar, but I said it. I told people that were there with me when I saw it, because I was like, what the F? I was with my colleague at work, and I told her, I'm like, look at this crap. And she goes like, what the hell? They literally took your stuff. They bit it. I'm like, I know. But again, I set the bar. It's okay. I move forward, and we just keep on rolling. Worst case scenario, somebody down the road's going to see it and be like, "Oh yes, that did not belong to the artist. That layout." I just wish they would have published it. But it just goes to show, somebody was like, that's so good as far as like the setup, that we could just use that for something down the road, which I get. Like, in the industry, that happens a lot more than most people know. That's why you got to be kind of cautious. Like, if you put something out there, you have to know that there's a chance that somebody might take it, refine it, use it for their own. And that's okay. You set it up so that way somebody else is going to, do their thing. So I will not be mad about that. I mean, the flip side to it, and the positive side that I can say, is this: um, they it'll be out there. It makes for a great story. So whenever I'm on here or anywhere else, I can tell somebody, be like, "Hey, you want to check out something really cool? Check this out." It is a sucky situation, because I would have loved to have my work on a Spawn book, but that can happen down the road. I think my submissions for that contest were pretty darn good. The only one I would say was not so good was my Violator piece. I don't think I tried hard enough, because it was very tight, and it was a last minute job, so it wasn't the best. But everything else, yeah. All right, so we're gonna give him a blade here, because he's got these. I wouldn't even say daggers; they're like short blades. All right, and then we're going to do the head. Got to make sure that we get the spikes, because he's got a lot of spikes that go up his head. There we go. And we will get the scales going here. And I think we're in good shape. I think that's a good spot where I can start throwing down some ink. Yeah, I mean, poses. I'm okay with the pose things. And welcome, Marsh. By the way, I didn't say hello. I'm okay with the pose thing. That's not a problem. I see that happen all the time. Um, the thing that bothered me was, it was, again, it is the same character. You know, the pose thing. Like I said before, Todd McFarlane his number 300 gets utilized all the time. And I believe 301, and there's another one that he did where Violator or Venom's on top of somebody else, but that and the Spider-Man number 1 get reused a lot. So I don't have a problem with that. I honestly don't. The issue that I took with it was, again, the same character, um, the positioning. I mean, the benefit is that Brett Booth is a phenomenal artist. He definitely, took it and pushed it even further than what I did. But I will sit up there and tell anybody, I'll be like, that's a knockoff. That was a complete rip. And we as artists, I mean, we do that where we're inspired by somebody else's artwork, and it happens. Things catch our eyes, and whether we believe it or not, we'll kind of take ideas from people and keep them in our memory bank, and we'll pull them out for later. We do that all the time. We're just naturally made that way. What's going on, Custom? Yeah, we're wired that way. I mean, a lot of things are inspired by this stuff. Oh, I was showing everybody that. I'll show you in just a second. Let me pull it up here so you can see it. So I was talking about your Spawn book, and it kind of led me down this rabbit hole. So back, I think 2 years ago, Todd McFarlane went ahead and did a contest where he wanted people to, have an opportunity to have published work on a cover of his. And I submitted this cover here, or this image. So it was actually this piece. And then shortly after, Spawn 360, you can see. Yep. Yeah, I mean, I bought the book. I wish this is what I'd wished had happened. So last February, Todd McFarlane came to MegaCon, or this big convention in Florida. And what I was hoping to have happen is me win a spot to actually get to see him. And I was going to bring my book, or my print, to him and have him sign it, just so I could be like, can you sign the real one? But if you're a fan, you don't want to be too much of a dick. Especially if it's somebody you admire, you don't want to be that much of an asshole. So I think that's one of the other reasons why I did not get the spot, because yeah, that would have been in bad taste. Yeah, but that's okay. I mean, I've been past that for a while. It's just the initial shock of it that really pissed me off, but it's dead and gone now, so it's fine. Again, I'm pretty sure what happened was somebody saw it and they got inspired by it, and they were like, okay, well, we're going to kind of keep that one in the memory banks because that's a good piece. That's a good idea. That's a good layout. And again, it happens all the time. Yeah, I mean, that is true. I mean, I kind of do take it like it is a badge of honor, because you know I can always say that I did it first, and that's okay. And again, I can just tell the story. I can tell people what happened. I mean, I could be pissed off at him, but at the same time, I have no doubt other people like ripped his stuff too. I mean, I know lots of people that have, used his covers, his designs, but I've never seen anybody like literally take the exact same character and do the same thing. I kind of give it a pass because Todd McFarlane is like one of my favorite artists of all time. So I'm not going to be pissed off that he it went on one of his books because technically, I mean, if you really look at it, my work actually did end up on one of his books. So that's. I mean, again, it's all perspective, and if this had been like 20-year-old Marcus, then I would have taken it a different route. But I'm in my 40s. So I'm like, I don't really have a lot of F's to give. I can piss myself off with all sorts of stuff, or I can just move on. And I'd rather just move on. Yeah, I mean, we all did. I mean, I can definitely say I've used his stuff for other things. Again, I like you. I'd never published my stuff like that stuff. I never published, but you learn that as you go along. Um, I mean, let's be honest. Todd and his crew and artists in general, like when they do stuff like that, it's kind of helping them because if you've been in the field for so long, you're kind of stuck in specific types of designs that you do and layouts that you do, and it's basically a shorthand. But as you get older, you're stuck with that, so you need to have like fresher perspective. And in order to do that, you have to come up with different plays. And in this case, it was, let me put some new art on my or throw it out there for people to get an opportunity, which is great because again, you're getting showcased. So yay for those artists that did get showcased, minus the one that decided to put in the AI art. Um, that's great, and that just helps the industry and as a whole. So again, it's all about perspective. You can be pissed off about it, and boycott the whole thing, but I'm not like that because I enjoy what this man creates. He's got a long-standing comic with me that yeah, there's certain like fumbles in there that I'm not a big fan of, but overall, I will say that it's a great. He's got a good machine going on over there. Yeah, you can't be mad about that kind of stuff. I mean, at the end of the day, my little roar is not going to get to him. I don't have that much traction to say something to him. And what happens if the day comes up where I'm given the opportunity to actually do a book for him? Right? Do I want to, have smeared his name? No, I don't want to do that, and I don't want to squander opportunities. I just put it out. The people that really piss me off um, are the ones that deliberately grab other people's artwork. They will go to conventions or they'll put it on their site and sell it as if it was something that they created. That and the people that create AI art, those are the ones that get on my nerves the most. Because you're not trying. I mean, AI art, for one, we all know that that's just anybody can type in something and the computer is doing the work. You are not doing anything other than doing a quick typing of a prompt. You are not putting in the hours and the frustration of trying to figure out things. So it's a different type of art. The people that steal stuff, again, you're going through somebody else's art gallery and just grabbing it. What is going on, Joseph? Yeah, I mean, a buddy of mine, in fact, the book that you're getting um, custom, the Spawn Kills Every Spawn. So the guy's name, his real name is Rob Duenas. He's an artist based out of Ohio, and he used to live in San Diego for the longest, right? So he created um, some pieces years ago, and I'll show them to you so that way you can see what I'm talking about. Um, Sketchcraft Avengers, and there's a good story behind this one. And this dude is like dope. So this is one piece that he did. All right. So that's one piece that he did. And then this other one, Captain America. Okay. So where is this Captain America that he did? Okay. Dang it. I can't find this Captain America. Oh, let's see. Is this it? Okay, I can't find this Captain America. But anyway, this piece that he did. Yeah. So he's like Rob is like super great. So somebody took this piece along with many others, put them on T-shirts, took them to a convention, and then was reselling them for obnoxious amounts of money. Um, because Rob has got such a good following of people, one of his fans actually spotted it and brought it to the attention of the convention owner and had that person removed because they were selling stuff that did not belong to them. So that stuff that stuff happens and I hate that. But Rob is definitely, one of those people. I mean, we literally Rob and I are 6 months apart in age, and he's had a lot more experience than I have because I have not um I didn't pursue it like he did, but he's had a cool career where he's had a chance to do that comic book Spawn Kills Every Spawn. He's worked on some Transformers covers. He's done Popeye covers and a few other covers. So he's definitely had himself very well published. Still has one of the top selling T-shirts of all time at Universal Studios, and it's still sold to this day. Every time I go by Universal, I got to check it out and see if it's still there. And it's still there. They're still selling it. Um, but Rob's story is epic, and the crazy part is I found out about Rob after I had been looking at his stuff for so many years. So I had seen his work because he worked for a company called Play Magazine, and I used to pick up Play all the time, and I still have all of the covers that he did, and they were so different because there were only a few companies that would do illustrative art on their covers, right? And Play was one of them. So that every so often they would have like they had Joe Mad pop up on there and a few other artists pop up. But Rob at the time was so different because his style was very similar to that of like Steve Platt at that time. And Rob's style's changed over the years. So as he went further along, you know, his career pushed him into being able to work for, you know, different licensed t-shirt companies. And if you haven't seen his YouTube, you definitely want to check it out because there's a lot to this. So he used to work for some company. I don't remember what it was, but he worked for a t-shirt company, and they would do t-shirts for like, who was it? For like Spencer's and all these other companies, right? And he decided he wanted to do a Kickstarter, and the Kickstarter involved that Captain America and a few other things. And the goal for the Kickstarter was just oh, I already yeah, that's the one with the red background. I love that. I actually watched that thing live when he was doing it. That thing is sick. Yeah, his Kickstarter was dope. Yeah, I really like so I look for specific artists that are always trying to push their designs, and um there's very few artists that I find nowadays that go outside and are always trying to stretch themselves. Rob is definitely one of those. Like he does not stick with any specific thing for very long because he wants to get better and better and better and better. So yeah, he's super dope. But I mean, if you know like that Kickstarter, he ended up getting a cease and desist for that. And that's why I'm like, depending on what I do, I gotta be very, very cautious on how I write things and how I, you know, even with this card set, I have to be very careful because if it blows up, it could be a problem. You know, or it could be a good thing because somebody might see it and be like, "Oh my god, that's such a cool idea." All right. Yeah, I'm so excited to see Jason Momoa as Lobo. I mean, I tell everybody that you know Jason Momoa, his my favorite character that he ever played was in Conan because there's this one move that he does with the sword where he spins it on his hand. Oh my god, it's chef's kiss. It's so good. It's not a great film. By no means is it a good film, but it is definitely a fun film. You know, I even will look back at his work that he did in Fast and Furious, the last one that came out. Now the movie, again, not his fault. He was the best part about that movie. He was hilarious in that movie. You know, in Dune, I'm not a big fan of Dune, like the original Dune, like the Dune that just came out. I'm not a big fan of Dune. However, I love his part in it, and the fact that he's coming back in the third one, I'm stoked. But to see him as Lobo, that's gonna be cool. Yeah, definitely get that copyrighted. But the part that also helps is the thing with you doing it on platforms like these is that it archives your stuff. So if somebody wants to come back and be like, "Oh yeah, I did that," and be like, "No, negative. I went ahead. You can. Here's the video. Here's the timestamp for it. I did this 4 years ago. This is my work. This is not yours. So that's the best part about having these platforms. You know? Yeah, I'm looking forward to the day I can self-publish again. I really want. I'm looking at that, and I'm like, man, this is going to be really a lot of fun. Yeah, it's just the hardest part about doing that self-publishing game is just finding something that's going to be that'll connect with people. I tell folks, I'm like, listen, coming up with good work is hard. Coming up with something that connects with people is very, very hard. Yeah. So here, let me actually send it to you. Yeah, that is true. Consistency is the game. Like there's Sketchcraft, so you can screenshot that one. That's him. My thing is that when I get going on my comic, I don't want to get off track. I want to I'm going to focus in on it. I'm not going to really let anything else be part of that. I'll let commissions be part of it, but my focus has to be on the book. And the way that I found that works best for me, and this might work good for you too, is that if I lay out all the work that I'm going to do first, then I can't mess that part up because I already have a plan in place. So I just literally follow the plan. Yeah, I actually have. Yeah, it's going to be 5 graphic novels that are, compiled into one story. Um, let's just say this, and I'm going to keep it very vague only because it's not out there yet. Um, yeah, well, okay. Let me go on the story, and then I'll explain something as the reason is the 5. Um, so on the story side of things, I can say this much: it is a fantasy-based family story. That is the most I can give you on the story. Um, Now, the reason for the 5 is that I have several arcs that are going on in the story, and each chapter or each part of the story is a significant arc, obviously culminating at the 5th story. And I want the biggest part that I see with a lot of comics um, is that they're not giving me enough, and I want to have a nice, fulfilling story with good art throughout, and I don't want to shortchange the work. So there's an artist that I love to follow. His name is Ludo Lullaby, and he draws a book now. It's called Ghost Pepper. I love his book. I've always enjoyed his art since he was back on World of Warcraft and stuff like that. He did Battle Chasers, all that kind of good stuff. But um, he does Ghost Pepper, and the fact that he does a 32-page book and every page is quality, I love it. So for me, when I do a graphic novel, I want to have all of that fun and movement and emotion in my book, and I can't do that if I limit myself to 24 pages. I can't, I just don't feel like I'm going to be able to pull that off. What's going on, Solomon? I want this to really be a good book. I want to be able to have a book where people have the same experience that I had when I had comics, right? So my experience is that not only do you get a good story, but you can literally have a page turner and like every piece is a piece of art. That's what I want. And I have a certain feel that I want for the book. I don't want it to be like overly polished with digital art. I do want to try to play with I've been looking at like watercolor. I've been also looking at acrylics to make it work too. So this is why, stylistically, it's very important for me to, nail it down the way I want. Now, the part to it is that when somebody looks at it, will it connect? And I'm sure it will because I put the passion and the work behind it that I feel is going to really make it pop. But again, that's going to be next year's endeavor. This year's just getting me warmed up for that. But when you go into fantasy, um, the fantasy aspect is going to be fun. I love coming up with like dope looking characters. I like dealing with monsters and family and the psychology of characters. That's the part that I'm really wanting to dive into. Like, what are your motivations, and when you have those motivations, what ends up happening? What does trauma do to somebody? So that's part of it too. Yeah, I mean, when I start getting going on it, I mean, I'm not going to obviously not do all my pages on here, but I will do some pages, and then probably have a launch for it in 2028. I don't know if you guys ever heard of a guy by the name of Kenneth Rockefort, but he does a book, and that's kind of like the track that I'm looking to do too. And he publishes a book once a year. And he's got a hell of a following, and the book is just fantastic because it's a mix of different. It's mixed media. The name of the artist. Is that what you're asking for, Crossman? If you look up Sketchcraft, that's the best way to and easiest way to find him. But he's on Insta. He's got his own website, all that stuff. But the other artist, yeah, is Kenneth Rockefort. Yeah, Kenneth Rockefort is amazing. I had a chance to meet him before he blew up. He was doing like cons and doing little stuff for like Dirt Cheap, and then literally as soon as he did Velocity and people caught on to what he was doing, he just overnight just shot off the charts. And now he does books, when he wants to do them. That's the cool part. And he's got this cool little thing that he does with like women that when he draws them, he's always got this like little circle on their noses. And I know why he does it. It's just so that way he knows where the center point of the nose is. But it's really cool little ideas. He's got a very graffiti looking style. His work has a lot of movement in it. Yeah, he pops up once a year. He does Indiegogo. I have his first book, but I missed the other two, so I have to wait for this next go around. And he'll do them as a bundle. All right, I think that's looking good. Yeah, well, that's part of his graffiti background too. I love his line work. If you've ever seen him do um, his art like live, he's really really clean. He's very very clean in his work. Welcome back, M Dog. Which one's my later one? This one. Yeah, I wish he would do it in other mediums. I wish he had a website that he would do it with, because then I could definitely get those books. That's frustrating. For a while, Humberto Ramos, he was another one of those that would, like, his special books that he would sell at cons, you can only get through the conventions, and I was like frustrated for a while. But then some people, I don't know if they bootlegged it or something, but you could find them every so often on these other sites. Let me see what this looks like. This is going to be for his pants, and then I need to find like a reddish color. I have a piece that actually I have two pieces that I gotta wrap up in the next couple of days because they've been sitting on my backlog. You did one with Humberto? Holy shit. That's cool. That's really cool. Yeah, those pieces. I hope you kept those. I was telling a story that I used to dislike Humberto's work so much uh, because he took over Gen 13 years ago, like when he was first really getting his career started. I was like, no. And I used to hate on him because when he first started out, he had these chunky feet that he would draw on every one of his characters. I hated it. I was like, what are you doing? I'm like, you're breaking anatomy in a way that I don't understand. Like, everybody's got clown feet. Um, but it was that youth in me. You know what? I felt the same way about Greg Capullo. And part of it was because I didn't like the change. That I'm like, Todd, that's your book. What are you doing, right? But Greg Capullo hit number 30, 32. And as soon as he hit that book, it was never the same again. Like, Greg Capullo, I'm like, dude, I love your work. You're crazy. You're so good. Because he hit his stride. And the same thing with Humberto. I feel like when he got Spider-Man, that's when he really got going. And he has never, backed down. Like, even when he did Crimson, I think was good too. Well, I'm talking about Humberto Ramos, and then so this is Humberto Ramos. If you, where is it? So that's Humberto Ramos right there. That guy right there. That's him, and he's done like that cover. Um, he basically is the guy that they bring in to really like pump up a comic. Like they bring him in, and he like does work. Like he'll get things going. He did Strange Academy. He's now on Fantastic Four. He did a run on Spider Man. I mean, he's done a lot of work, and he's got some independent stuff that he did. Um, that is just ridiculous. So good. What is that? Yeah. So Ramos is no joke. He is probably one of the best in the industry right now. Doesn't get enough credit, but he definitely is one of the best. Capullo again. Capullo is the one person that I'm waiting on for him to produce his book, Creech 3. And then I'm waiting for a day that I'm going to see Todd McFarlane do sequential arts, consecutively more than just one issue. Because remember, he hasn't returned to comics since the Batman Spawn comic that they did 2 years ago. I mean, however, to Todd's credit and to all these other people, doing a comic is hard. I mean, it's a lot of work drawing all that stuff, especially when you want to do all the other stuff that you have in life. Like you've accomplished the goals, you've gotten all the awards, you're running a successful company, so you got to kind of pick your battles. That's kind of like when you bring in Jim Lee. Jim Lee comes in, he does his work, and then he's like, "Peace out. I got your book going. Now you got to keep it going." Yeah, he did, but it's not the same when you don't have him, going for a long run. But that's okay because that gives time for other people to take on the reins and whatnot. The fact that I get to see Brett Booth do work nowadays on Spawn, I'm so happy because I was I was championing and I was championing this guy's work for years. Um, he always did like fantastic layouts and beautiful scenery, and now he went from Gunslinger to Spawn, and it's amazing. What's going on, Gabe? Oh, okay. That makes more sense. Okay, that's where we are getting the confusion. But nonetheless, I mean, still, having somebody that you can collab with is always a good thing. Yeah, I can only imagine doing somebody with watercolor. In fact, what you should do is we got Gabe on here, you know, painting with watercolor. You two should really, chat it up and, come up with something for sure. It would probably be really something cool. Yeah, I think that would be a good mix of artistry. I just want to give you guys a heads up. I only got a few more minutes. Unfortunately, got to go do that day job. Awesome. I got to get up on your channel and I got to uh, save your next show so that way I can make sure I'm on it. Did you get another sale? I started a little after 8 o'clock. I'm still trying to figure out my schedule because I'm doing this. Like I said, I'm still doing the workout challenge. So instead of me going longer on my streams, I cut my streams down a little bit, and I'm still just trying to work out the logistics. That's the hard part. What comics did I do? Um, so I self-published with a friend of mine, and we did it on a as a Kickstarter. I to this day, it's still one of those things that um, it's one of those things that I partially regret, but it was a good learning lesson. So I'm going to tell everybody this because you don't end up in the same trap that I did. And I did this only because I was young and stupid, but it's a good lesson. Oh, sweet. Perfect. Um, so my friends and I did this book called Beast Knights. And the basic premise is that the world's in chaos. Oops, I got about 5 minutes. So the world's in chaos, and there's this character. His name is called the Lord of Light. He basically watches over mankind. He just doesn't get involved unless he absolutely needs to. Well, at this point, this creature called Darkness has now just taken over everything and is causing all sorts of chaos throughout this countryside. And he's wanting to take over these lands. So all of these factions come together and they're like, we're gonna make one last stand against this evil. Unfortunately, they don't win the battle. So they lose every soldier except for these four. And out of the four, one of them gets injured, and they all end up in the forest and they're trying to figure out, okay, what do we do from here? We've lost. We're probably not going to succeed. So this character, the Lord of Light, comes out of nowhere and is like, look, I know that we have this mutual enemy. If I was to give you powers, would you go against this big bad? And they're like, hell yeah, let's go. So they get basically what the Lord of Light does is he takes the power of an animal, combines it with a human, and they become anamorphic characters. And they also are given like almost like superpowers, right? And that's basically the story, the short story of it. Now, the the problem that I ran into is that I was the artist for the comic, and I wanted to go hard. And unfortunately, at the time, my skills were not where they are now. And this is many years ago, so keep that in mind. Um, and I also didn't have the discipline that I have now today. So I went ahead and I muscled through the first two books. It was really tough. I didn't have a plan. I just basically took these stick drawings that my writer had produced for me. Sorry about the noise. That my writer had produced for me because it was his story and he had a specific vision. I said, just give me the stick versions of your work. Well, the problem with that is that how an artist draws versus how a writer writes are two different things. Sometimes they don't see eye to eye and get it doesn't flow right. Like in a writing, it could. What's going on, Vintage? Um, so that's no problem. I went ahead and drew it, and we were able to get through the first two books. And unfortunately, when I got to the last book, I was like, I want to produce this thing and I want to get it published and I want to have it out there for people to enjoy. However, I didn't have the funds to make that happen. So I decided to do crowdfunding. I felt like crowdfunding would push me to complete the book. And I could use the funds to then go to conventions and promote the book. So my methods, my ideas behind it were good. However, I did not finish the mission. I got partially through the book and I got exhausted, like I was spent. So I never got a chance to finish the book. I mean, it's one of the biggest flops that I've ever done. I still have a couple pages that I'm going to do, but I'm redoing the book so that way I can still give the book to the people that did help me out. I don't want to not do that. Um, because I still feel like they believed in me to finish it, and I'm going to finish it, even though it's taken me forever to do it. What I would change and what I will change when I do another crowdfunded base piece is when I present the book is done. The book was not done when I did the crowdfunding. I was thinking that the crowdfunding was going to push it over the edge. So I would say this: like, if you ever do crowdfunding, never, ever, ever, ever put it out there unless you are like near the finish line or you are done. And when I say near the finish line, we're talking like you only have like 10% left to do, or you're just needing funds to publish the book, because money does not motivate you to finish a project. You know, you have to want and plan for the finish line. You know, I know now, having had that experience, I would never do that again. It was it's my biggest failure that I've ever had. I felt like I did good work at the time. I was not structured how I am now. But you got to go through those little, bumps in the road in order to make yourself better. So I try to take my experience and give it to other people so that way they don't run into the same, headaches that I did. And I'm sure that, somebody will learn from what I did. And that'll be good. That's a good experience. It's a good lesson. Yeah, I mean, I would love to, like like my coloring books and stuff like that. I produced all of those. Those are not kickstarted at all. Those are just books that I wanted to get out there, and I want people to have a good time with it. My next couple of books are not going to be books that I've written. They're going to be art books, and I feel like that's a better route to go to get my feet wet for that. Yeah, I have two Littles comic coloring books that I have. They have to be reprinted, but yeah, I have Littles. Um, those books were produced a couple years ago. I'll show you what those entail. Let me see if I have some of those pieces up here on my site. Marcus, do I have? Oh no, they're on my Insta. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to get going here in just a couple minutes, but I want to show you guys this so that way you can kind of see what they are involved, what's involved. Oh, just so you guys can see, this is the other piece that I did for the Todd McFarlane one. I forgot that that's one of them right there. Yeah, I would love to do a car book. That would be dope. It's in my like I want to do like those funny cars. There's a old book I used to buy where you had those cars with like had muscles and all that stuff, like the muscle engines. Yeah. Yeah, that was from Gunslinger. Okay, so I'm trying to find the little stuff that I did so you guys can see that. I know it's in here. So it's a book just of nothing but littles. So as far back as it goes. Okay, so these are some of the littles that I did. So, like I did Sagat, did like a Wonder Woman, Batman. Um, so these are some of the pieces that were part of that series. Spawn, Little Mermaid, Rainbow Bright. So those are just some of the pieces that I've had a chance to do. Yeah, I like littles. They're fun. They're definitely fun for me to pull off. It just makes sense for like little kids. Little characters make they pop. All right, guys. I'm going to have to call it a day, but it was all very cool meeting everybody today. Had a lot of fun. Well, strangely enough, tomorrow I will be doing the chains because custom ordered a Spawn cover, so you'll get to see how those chains are made. They're really not hard. It's a perspective thing and getting correct shapes. Yep. Marsh, really good meeting you. Custom, you take care. You guys have a very good day. I can't wait to see the art that you produce, and I will definitely follow everybody, and I'm going to definitely check out everybody's shows as they come up. So until next time, I should be back again. On let's see, today's Tuesday. I'll be back on Thursday morning. So I'll see you guys then. Take care.